Yo, we are back, and today I'm going to be breaking down how to build the greatest big three in Miami Heat history. I have a D-Wade build, a Lebron build, and a Chris Bosh build for you guys today. All three of these builds are insanely good and a lot of fun to play on. I'm not wasting any of your time today, but right before we get started, drop a like, drop a sub, turn the notifications on. We still have 2K24 videos going crazy for the rest of the year. Without further ado, let's get right into the builds. Alright, starting out with D-Wade, we went with a 6'4" shooting guard, 189 pounds, and a 6'10" wingspan. I really tried to make these builds as close as I could to their actual real life stats, while still making them good builds in the game. So if it's not the exact same physicals as these players have in real life, keep in mind we still want the builds to be good in the game. With that being said, let's get into the attributes. Alright, starting out with the finishing, we went with a 56 close shot, 76 driving layup, and a 90 driving dunk. That 90 driving dunk is going to get us gold precision dunker and also get us a ton of really good contact animations. Trust me, 90 is more than you need, but it's going to make this build super fun. D-Wade was catching a lot of bodies when he was in the NBA, so I wanted to make sure we got that driving dunk rating up to kind of show how good he really was at finishing. If you didn't know already, you don't need any standing dunk this year to be able to standing dunk, so don't worry about that. And then the 76 driving layup is going to get us some really good layup animations. This build is not lacking in the finishing department. Let's get on to the shooting. Alright, on to the shooting. You know we couldn't let D-Wade lack in the shooting department. We got an 86 mid-range, 85 3, and a 76 free throw. I'm not going to break down every single shooting badge you get, but with this 86 mid-range, 85 3, you're going to get more than enough shooting badges to shoot super consistently. And it's also going to unlock you a ton of different jump shots, including the jump shot that I use on this build. So if you're worried about that, check out my page. I have the jump shot posted that I use on this build. After a few patches, shooting is pretty easy now this year, so you should not worry about these not being high enough. You're going to be able to green super consistently, open and contested, it really doesn't matter. And then that 76 free throw is going to have you knocking down everything at the line. That's going to wrap it up for our shooting. Let's get on to the playmaking. Alright, on to the playmaking. Like I've said with every build I've made this year, 70 is all you're really going to need. It definitely gets the job done, so don't worry about that. I literally use it on all my point guard builds. 70 is very good this year, and I didn't want to waste any attributes going any higher. 92 ball handle is going to get you gold speed booster and a lot of really good playmaking badges, and also going to unlock you all the dribble moves you're going to need. So 92 is what I've been putting on all the point guard builds that I can this year. 85 speed with ball, you're going to get pro dribble style. You're also going to get Devin Booker dribble style. 85 is all you're really going to need for speed with ball. If you wanted to move some things around and get a 90 speed with ball for the Kyrie Irving dribble style, I would also see that being really good. But these are the playmaking attributes I ended up going with, trying to make it as close to D-Wade as I could and still make it a viable build. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for the playmaking. Let's get on to the defense. On to the defense. I've said this was every build I made this year. 76 perimeter defense might not look like much, but it is more than enough to get stops this year. On a build like this, you're not trying to be a lockdown. You're not trying to get a bunch of steals or blocks or rebounds. Honestly, 76 perimeter defense is what's going to be best to be able to balance this build out how you need it. And what I mean by that is this build is so powerful offensively, you won't need to worry about having really strong defensive stats because you make up for it on the offensive end. Trust me on this, I've been doing it with a ton of builds, and 76 is plenty. Let's get on to the physicals. For the physical attributes, the speed and acceleration are pretty basic. You want to shoot for 82, 87 on almost any guard build you go for, just so that you're getting those good speed boosting badges, and also able to unlock the animations that you want. Then I went with a 50 strength, just for some defensive purposes and also some finishing purposes. 82 vertical is going to get you any dunk package you need on this build. And then obviously we had to go with the 99 stamina. That's pretty basic. I put that on every build I have also. Overall, this build's going to be a dog on offense and still going to be able to get some stops on defense. And I think it's a pretty good representation of Dwayne Wade. Let's hop into the build name and comparisons and see what we get. Alright, so for our comparisons, we're going to get Colin Sexton, Austin Reeves, and Anthony Simons. And then our build name is going to be Shot Creating 3-Level Threat. Personally, I think that's a great build name for a Dwayne Wade build. But we're not done here. Let's get on to LeBron. Alright, on to our LeBron build. We went with a point guard, 6'8", 185 pounds with a 7'5" wingspan. And I know you might be thinking this is too light to be LeBron, but like I said with the last build, we have to make these builds as close as we can while still being viable in the game. So this is what I went with to make it as well-rounded as I could and try to match LeBron the best as possible. So copy down these attributes and then let's get right into the finishing attributes. Starting off with the finishing, this is a great representation of LeBron. We're getting that 89 driving dunk, which is going to unlock you a ton of driving dunk packages. 69 layup is more than enough to make layups this year, and 62 close shot will have you making all those close shots. The contested ones still might be a problem, but you're still going to be making a ton of them. And then I went on to a 92 post control. You know LeBron's bullying people in the post. And that's also going to help you get a ton of mid-range badges. So if you're posting up in the mid-range and shooting fades, that's going to help you a ton. Not only that, on a 6'8" build, a 92 post control is going to give you gold unpluckable instead of silver. So these lockdowns will be ripping you way less. I've played a ton on this build and it's an absolute beast in the paint. These finishing attributes are crazy. You're going to be finishing everything, especially since you're 6'8" with a long wingspan. That's going to wrap it up for the finishing though. Let's get on to the shooting. On to the shooting attributes. These are about the closest shooting attributes you can get to a LeBron build in 2K. We get an 86 mid-range shot. You know he's going to be knocking down every mid-range, all the post fades, everything like that. You get a ton of badges to help you with that, and you're going to have no issues knocking down any mid-range shot. With a 79 three-pointer, you can hit more than enough as long as you know how to shoot. They made it pretty easy this year, I'm not going to lie. And also the badges you get from your mid-range attributes are going to help you shoot threes. 79 is more than enough, and you're going to be hitting shots just like LeBron. 63 free throw, definitely enough to hit him this year, so don't worry about that. And then the last thing to touch on with shooting, make sure your attributes are high enough to get the jump shot you want. The jump shot I use only requires an 84 mid-range, so I made sure to get that on this build. And there's plenty of very good jump shots you can get on this build. But if you still need one, check out my videos. I post these jump shots all the time. That's going to wrap it up for the shooting. Let's get on to the playmaking. On to the playmaking. I've said it on every single build all year long. 70 pass accuracy is more than enough. You're still going to be throwing fast passes, and you don't want to waste attributes going any higher than that. 85 ball handle, 75 speed with ball are going to get you all the dribble animations you're going to need on this build. If you need those animations, I posted a video on them. Go check that out. I'm not going to go too into depth with this just because it's pretty basic. You get a lot of really good playmaking badges with these attributes, and you're still able to dribble really well for a 6'8". For example, I use this build as a main point guard, and since I have that gold unpluckable and all these really good animations, I don't have to worry about getting ripped. And I'm also fast enough to ISO or take screens, whatever I need to do in that situation. That's going to wrap it up for the playmaking. Let's get on to the defense. As you can see right off the rip, the defense is super well-rounded. 85 perimeter, 85 steal, 77 block, which is way more than you need this year if we're being honest. 61 interior is going to have you getting stops on bigs and guards when they come into the paint. The only part that's lacking on this build is rebounding, which we know LeBron does very well. But like we all know, in 2K, you can't have it all. If I'm being completely honest, I've used this build as lockdown. I've used this build as point guard. You honestly can run it as anything. It's so good at defense, especially at 6'8". You could use it as a main lock if you wanted to. All right, you've seen how well-rounded the build is. Let's go check out the physicals. 81 speed, 79 excel are going to get you all the playmaking badges you need. You're going to be moving really fast on the court. 50 strength, I know that's a little bit low for LeBron. Like I said, I went lower on the weight so that we were able to well-round the build a little bit better. But even with 50 strength, you're going to be getting body ups, you're going to be getting stops, you're going to be blowing through people on offense. I feel like 50 strength is a good middle point this year, so you don't need to worry about that. 78 vertical is going to help you get all those dunk packages, going to make you super athletic, finishing at the rim. And then obviously 99 stamina, anytime you can, you're going to want to max that out. That's going to wrap it up for the super well-rounded LeBron build. Let's get on to the build name and comparisons, and then we'll check out that final build. All right, for our build name and comparisons, you're going to be a 3-level threat. And honestly, the comparisons, I'm not looking at those. Those are horrible comparisons. You saw how well-rounded the build was. It really can do it all. And I feel like it's the best representation of LeBron. Let's get on to Chris Bosh. All right, for Chris Bosh, we went power forward, 6'11", 224 pounds with a 7'3" wingspan. I've played on a ton of big men builds this year, and this one is a ton of fun. It's going to be a big man that can shoot, space the floor, score inside, dribble a little bit, and also get a ton of stops in the paint. Copy down these stats and let's get on to the attributes. All right, for the finishing, we are starting with a 90 close shot. You're going to be finishing everything around the rim, especially at 6'11". Driving layup at 60 doesn't really matter too much, but you're still going to be able to knock those down. 73 driving dunk. This is going to be the threshold for a lot of really cheese driving dunk animations, and I've posted videos on those, so if you want to know what to put on for driving dunk animations, go check those out. 72 standing dunk is going to unlock you some badges that help you with your standing dunk, but honestly, standing dunk's broken this year. You're going to be throwing those down either way, especially with how tall you are. And then that 85 post control is going to get you unpluckable, which when you see what our playmaking attributes are, you're going to want to make sure you have that, because you're able to dribble a little bit on this build, and you don't want to be ripped every time with how tall you are if you don't have this upgraded to get your unpluckable. But also, even without dribbling, 85 post control is going to have you throwing people out of the way, doing post spins, post fades. Post control might be my favorite attribute this year, if I'm being honest. That's going to wrap it up for the finishing. Let's get on to the shooting. For the shooting, remember we are a 6'11" build, and we are still getting an 86 mid-range, an 82 3, and a 75 free throw. High shooting attributes on tall builds are extremely fun. I don't know if it's just me, but being able to knock down shots super consistently on a huge build is a ton of fun. That 86 mid-range is going to unlock you a ton of badges. Not going to go through all of them, but it is very good. And it's also going to unlock a bunch of very good big man jump shots. So you don't need to worry about not having a good jump shot in this build. Again, I have those posted if you want to go check those out. Post fades are also really broken this year, and that 86 mid-range is going to help you make those. 82 three-pointer, more than enough. Like I said on both the previous builds, more than enough to knock those down super consistently. And then again, 75 free throw if you're wanting to knock those down, especially if you're playing a lot of rec, make sure you have that up. That's going to do it for our shooting attributes. On to the playmaking. All right, on our 6'11" build, we are getting a 70 ball handle and a 65 speed with ball, which I've dribbled with less on a 7-footer, and this is going to be a lot of fun to play on. You're definitely going to be able to move around a little bit, get your shot yourself, and also 70 pass accuracy. Like I said on the last build, again, don't waste attributes going any higher. Along with being able to shoot on a big man, being able to dribble a little bit on a big man is also a ton of fun. But just to remind you, make sure you have that post control up so you're not getting ripped every time you put the ball on the floor. Again, playmaking pretty self-explanatory. You're going to get a few good dribble animations with this. But let's check out the defense. For our defense, 74 interior, you're going to be getting a ton of stops in the paint. 71 perimeter, you're going to be able to move your feet, keep up with guards a little bit. 60 steal is going to get you the bronze steal badges, so that's going to be the threshold you want to make sure to hit. 77 block is really the money spot this year. You're getting a ton of blocks at 77. There's not really a huge reason to go any higher than that. Offensive rebound, I rarely put it up on any of my builds just because the defensive rebound is going to get you the badges for rebounding, and you're going to be grabbing them even if your attribute isn't up. And then rounding it out with an 83 defensive rebound, I'm telling you right now, it's more than enough, especially at 6'11". I have 6'7" builds in 83, and I snag over centers all the time. This build is very well rounded. It's going to be a beast on defense. For our physicals, we're going to max out pretty much everything here. 73 speed, 66 acceleration. You obviously want to be as fast as possible since you're pretty big. 85 strength, you're going to be able to keep up with the big men in the paint, throw people around. That post control is going to let you throw people out of the way also. And that strength is also going to help you with rebounding. And then 80 vertical, it honestly just makes you more athletic. Your finishing is going to be better, your rebounding is going to be better, and you're also going to get the dunk packages you need. And then I went with max stamina at 98. Pretty self-explanatory on that. You want to max that out anytime possible. This build overall is a ton of fun. Let's get on to the build name and comparisons. For our comparisons, we are going to get Antoine Jameson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Julius Randle. And our build name for this one is also going to be a 3-level threat. That's going to wrap it up for our Miami Big 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you make these builds, and I hope you have fun with them. See you in the next one.